Good evening, I'm Regina Lay.
And I'm Pauline Verzosa.
The big stories tonight. Comelec begins sending out show cause orders to contractors who contributed to the campaign kitty of politicians. First up, Senator Construction President Lawrence Lubiano, who donated 30 million pesos to Senator Cheese Escudero's 2022 campaign.
And a clash at the Senate erupts after some senators from the minority bloc challenged Senate President Tito Sotto's decision to transfer disgraced DPWH engineer Bryce Hernandez to another detention facility.
And the Justice Department says there's a new witness against former President Rodrigo Duterte at the ICC, his once trusted soldier, former PCSO Chair Roina Garma.
After po sumagot po yung mismong contractor, susunod po namin yung kandidato na ipagpapaliwanagin naman.
Kami namang mga senador, we are open for public scrutiny. Since before, kahit na ngayon, kahit nung ako leader nun, basta merong nag-complain sa isang senador, at sinasabi namin, hindi mag-file kayo ng complaint sa Ethics Committee.
The Commission on Elections has formally started its investigation into the campaign donations made by government contractors to political candidates. First on their list is Senator Construction and Development President Lawrence Lubiano. Lubiano, who admitted in a congressional inquiry that he contributed 30 million pesos to the campaign of Senator Cheese Escudero back in 2022, will be served a show cause order to explain why he should not be charged with an election offense. Section 95 of the Omnibus Election Code prohibits contractors with existing projects from contributing to any partisan political activity. Lubiano will be given 5 days to reply, after which the poll body will also write to Escudero to get his side.
After po sumagot po yung mismong contractor, susunod po namin yung kandidato na ipagpapaliwanagin naman. At least po na-establish na namin na number one, contractor talaga yan ng pamahalaan. Number two, nagbigay talaga siya. Then let now the recipient be allowed to explain naman what is his explanation as regards the contribution or donation received by him.
In a message to reporters, Escudero said he will adhere to whatever orders may be issued to him in order to prove that he did not violate any law. Escudero also thanked Comelec Chair George Garcia for giving him the chance to prove it.
Well, aside from the Lubiano-Escudero case, the poll body is also looking into at least 52 contractors who may have also contributed to certain candidates during the 2022 elections. Chairman Garcia said these contractors donated to 26 candidates, which include 7 national candidates, and that's 4 senatorial, 3 congressional, and 15 political parties and party lists. 2 governors and 2 vice governors are likewise being investigated.
Sinabit na po namin sa House of Representatives as requested, hindi po namin ma-reveal sapagkat nagke-case build-up kami. Number 2, hanggat walang certification from DPWH, siyempre po, pinipresyo muna namin na sila lang ay construction firms. Whether sila ay government contractors or private, later pa po namin malalaman yon. Nung initially, nang nakita ko yung 43, parang may napansin ako na 2 or 3 na nando sa listahan.
If proven guilty, contractors face a maximum penalty of up to 6 years imprisonment. For the candidates, punishment will depend if they are still holding office. For his part, Senate President Tito Sotto said a complaint against any sitting senator will be referred to the Senate Ethics Committee.
Kami namang mga senador, we are open for public scrutiny. Since before, kahit na ngayon, kahit nung ako leader nun, basta merong nag-complain sa isang senador, at sinasabi namin, hindi mag-file kayo ng complaint sa Ethics Committee. Kasi nga may mga kabawalan. Merong bawal na ganito, bawal tumanggap sa let's say corporations or personalities who are having transactions with government.
News 5 visited a flood control project built by a contractor that Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson linked to former DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan. It was completed just in 2023, but residents say it's already falling apart. Here's the story.
Very systematic, yung kanilang operation, from the time na mag-planning, pati yung design ng project, pati yung pag-bid, pati yung pag-implement.
Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong once again hit the alleged collusion among lawmakers, DPWH officials, and contractors involved in the flood control project mess. Magalong said there is a system starting from lawmakers conniving to choose who shall become district engineers in their areas, all the way to which contractors will be given the projects. He says this explained why almost every project bid already has predetermined contractors, and even the kickbacks have already been ironed out. The classic example, he says, are the Bulacan Group of Contractors or BGC boys that Senator Ping Lacson exposed.
Nakita nyo siguro yung nangyari doon sa BGC, ano? Ang bilis, ano? Kasi nga, they're just so comfortable. Yung ngayon nakakalungkot doon, parang wala nang takot na gawin nila yon, parang normal na sa kanila. Na pati yung documentation nila, very complacent sila, na akala nila wala na makakahuli sa kanila.
Magalong adds, there are more similar syndicates out there in other districts. He also lashed out at Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico, saying he's part of the syndicate. In his privileged speech Tuesday, Senator Ping Lacson linked former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan to a major contractor, Candaba, Pampanga Mayor Rene Maglanque. He alleged that Maglanque owned another company, MBB Global Properties Corporation, with Bonoan and another embattled DPWH official, Undersecretary Robert Bernardo. But then it was the Candaba Mayor's Global Crit Builders, which amassed more than 2.1 billion pesos in flood control contracts in Bulacan from 2018 to 2024. News 5 traced one of its projects in Barangay Marulas, Valenzuela. It's a flood control wall with an almost 20 million peso price tag. It's been marked completed since 2023. But residents keep complaining.
Pang nangyari po kasi, parang pinatong-patong lang nila. Hindi po talaga tinanggal lahat. Hindi siya maayos yung pagkakagawa niya kasi katulad nga niyan, tignan mo. Kailan lang ginawa, bitak-bitak na naman siya. Parang pinalitada lang.
We noticed a lot of cracks in parts of the wall. There were even portions where the cement has given way at the side of the creek.
Sila, lalo doon sa kabila, nagpalitada lang sila. Dito lang sa harap yung nakikita ng magbibisita. Yung likod, walang palitada. Tapos yung doon sa unahan, tibag-tibag yun. Tingnan mo, counting ng baha, bagsak.
News 5 has reached out to Bonoan, Maglanque, and Bernardo for their side on the matter, but have yet to hear back. Mobile journalist Mary Monreyes, we are One News.
Well, tensions rose during the Senate plenary session today after the new majority and minority blocs clashed over the custody of detained Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez. Hernandez is the one who tagged Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Joel Villanueva in the flood control scandal. The House cited him in contempt on Monday, but by Tuesday, he was at the Senate pleading for protection. Senate President Tito Soto says he spoke to House Speaker Martin Romualdez and they later agreed to just have Hernandez detained at the PNP Custodial Center under the supervision of the Senate's Sergeant-at-Arms.
Yesterday, after the hearing, during the hearings that they were conducting in the House, Speaker Martin Romualdez called me and said that their committee was allowing Mr. Hernandez to remain in the House and in the House of Representatives, and that he was requesting that he not be returned back to the Senate because of some fear for his life. That is according to him. So what I did was I asked the Speaker what he plans, because we cannot allow that. I said he is under our custody, and therefore he is in contempt in the Senate. Pag iniwan namin sa inyo, sabi ko, ibig sabihin niyan para namin pinawalan.
Correct,
Kaya
Mr.
hindi
President.
ako pumayag. Correct. So
Correct.
what I did was I asked the Sergeant-at-Arms to bring Mr. Hernandez to the PNP Custodial Center, and that is where he is now. Still under the care of the OSAA.
Today, during the Senate plenary, the discussion got so heated they had to suspend the session for a while and even left the floor to go into a separate meeting room away from the cameras. Former Blue Ribbon Chair Senator Rodante Marcoleta was very angry at the insinuation that Hernandez wouldn't be safe in the Senate. Meanwhile, Bato de la Rosa questioned why the upper chamber had to coordinate with the lower house.
I was still the chairman of Blue Ribbon Committee at the time, and it was very clear that we committed him to the custody of our Sergeant-at-Arms. Not in Quezon City, not anybody else. We are not supposed to change the rule. I move, Mr. President, that he be back immediately to the custody of the Senate, not only because this is the condition that you gave them, but more importantly, in order to erase the perception that if he is here in the Senate, he is not safe. I will reject the idea that if he returns in the Senate, manganganib ang buhay niya. It is as if that we're giving credence to his statement, which I believe is not true.
The reason why the Speaker requested for Bryce Hernandez to be detained not in the Senate, because for fear of being influenced by anybody or any member of the Senate, sila ay takot sa kanilang ginagawa mismo. Hindi po yan gagawain ng Senado na mag-impluensya ng resource person. Never pa nangyari yan na mayroong pumunta doon sa baba, tinakot yung nakakulong cited in contempt na resource person. Gawain nila yan sa House of Representatives. We should be independent from them. We have to stand on our own.
In the end, the Senate decided to move Hernandez to Pasay City Jail on the motion of Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Estrada remains furious over his name being dropped and called the district engineer a liar and a thief. He also said he discovered that, like the Discayas, Hernandez has a lot of vehicles apart from the Lamborghini and Dodge Challenger already mentioned in the hearings. These include a Ford Everest, Ford Territory, Mitsubishi Pajero, and at least 8 motorcycles, including Vespas and Ducatis.
Bryce Hernandez claims these vehicles are part of a buy and sell business run by his sibling. But why are all these vehicles registered under their names? Bakit nakarehistro ang kanilang mga sasakyan sa kanilang mga pangalan kung sinasabi niya buy and sell business itong mga ginagawa nila?
Just one small correction to that last item we read. Bryce Hernandez was cited in contempt by the Senate and pleaded for protection from the House, not the other way around. We apologize for that mistake. All right, now let's get more details on this Senate clash. We have with us tonight Senator Bato de la Rosa. Good evening, Senator. Welcome back to the Big Story.
Yes, good evening, ladies. Good evening to our listeners and viewers. Good evening sa ating lahat.
Oh, sir, we ran your soundbite. Galit na galit kayo, sir. What happened there?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, wala yung signal mo.
Okay. Senator, is that okay? Let's try again. Is that better?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Senator?
Hello?
Yes, Senator, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Putol-putol, wala-wala.
Ayun.
Okay, but we'll try to ask you again, Senator. Regina was asking that we did hear you earlier at the Senate. You were very furious over the custody of Bryce Hernandez. Could you tell us more about that, Senator?
I just asked the whereabouts of Bryce Hernandez because he was cited in contempt by the Blue Ribbon Committee. And he was ordered to be detained sa Senado. So, hinanap ko kung nasaan na. At it turned out na nakiusap daw si Speaker kay Senator Soto na huwag na ibalik sa Senado. Dahil baka daw ma-influensya ng mga senador, baka kakausapin, ganon. Kaya sinayad ko yung sitwasyon ni Grijaldo na nangyari kay Colonel Grijaldo. Hindi po yung gawain ng Senado na manakot ng resource person. Hindi po yung gawain ng Senado na mang-influensya ng resource person, lalong-lalo na yung mga cited in contempt na nakakulong. Hindi po yung gawain namin, kaya hindi po dapat pakinggan yung ganong klaseng rason. The custody of that person who was cited in contempt remains with the Senate. Dapat. Yun ang stand ko. Dahil para sigurado na yung pananagutan ng Senado ay kung may mangyari sa kanya, Senado mananagot dahil nakakuha yan kustodiya yan ng Senado.
Pero Senator, if tama yung pagkakabasa ko, you seem to be angrier at the fact that kinausap ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez si SP Soto. Is that correct? Parang more than the fact that may question over who should get custody, it seems you're angrier over the fact that the House has asked the Senate to coordinate. Am I reading too much into it, or is that correct?
No. Napukaw lang yung aking emosyon doon sa yung pang-aapi na ginawa nila noon kay Mel Grijaldo. Para bang bumabalik sa aking ganito na naman ngayon. Tapos pagbigyan pa natin sila. Sabi ko nga, you have to stand on our own. You have to decide na yung kustudiya should remain with the Senate.
So, naalala niyo lang kaso ni Colonel Grijaldo before. You're not really angry at the House.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes po.
Senator, so kanina nga, nagkainitan sa Senado. You even had to suspend session. You moved to a different room. At pagbalik, na-announce na nga na ililipat si Bryce Hernandez sa Pasay City Jail. How did you agree on that, Senator? At bakit Pasay City Jail? Pwede po ba yun kahit na in contempt pa lang naman itong si Hernandez?
Well, ang akin nga, kung sa Senado dapat, ay kung contempt siya sa Senado, di dapat sa Senado siya ikulong. Pero yun nga, to give weight doon sa rason na natatakot siya sa buhay niya kung sa loob siya ng Senado. So doon na lang siya pinalagay siguro sa Pasay, which is in close proximity sa Senado. Mas malapit ng Pasay Police Station sa Senado.
Pero Senator, alam naman natin yung conditions sa Pasay City Jail, ibang-iba dyan sa custodial facility sa Senate at kahit dun sa PNP. So, you did mention malapit ang Pasay City Jail sa Senate, pero kasama na rin ba yung baka makatulong na mag-cooperate na tong si Bryce pag na-experience na niyang manatili, ma-detain sa Pasay City Jail?
Well, we don't distinguish whether maganda o pangit ang kulungan, basta yan ay lahat ay detention facilities yan ng PNP. Ang amin lang consideration doon is yung proximity to the Senate. Malapit lang sa Senado. Dahil nga, under the custody of the Senate sila, anything may mangyari, nasa malapit lang sa Senado.
What is your assessment, Senator, of yung resource persons at the Senate so far? Sila Sara and Curly Discaya, as well as si Henry Alcantara and Bryce Hernandez. Because obviously, some of them are lying because they're accusing each other of things, hindi nag-align yung pinagsasabi nila. What is your assessment?
Pasensya ka na talaga ha. Putol-putol yung dating mo sa akin. Hindi ko makuha yung interong sinasabi mo.
Oo nga,
ang sama na signal dito. Tawa ko kung location mo ang sira.
Saan ka ba, Senator? You're still in the Senate?
Nagmumove nga ako. Nagmumove ako. Hanap ako ng signal.
Okay.
Baka dinajam na itong cellphone ko. Matagal naman talaga itong minomonitor nila yung cellphone ko.
Sino nagmamonitor, sir?
Ewan ko. Yung gusto po nito sa akin.
Okay, so ulitin ko yung tanong, ano po yung assessment nyo sa resource persons nitong flood control issue? Sila Bryce Hernandez, Henry Alcantara, si mag-asawang Discaya. Mukhang some of them are lying, no? Kasi hindi, their testimonies are not lining up. What do you think?
Well, as far as we're concerned, kami man sa harapan man namin sila nagbigay ng kanilang testimonya. Makita kung nagsinungaling yung tao o hindi. So far sa akin, ang dating nung sinabi niya doon ay naniniwala ako. And it needs further validation. So far, at face value, na naniwala ako doon sa sinabi niya.
Alin mismo, Senator? Which one exactly yung naniniwala po kayo kasi marami po silang statements, marami po silang dinadawit dito. What exactly do you believe?
Ang hirap talaga ng signal. Ang hirap, hindi ko masyado marinig.
Oh, no. Who do you believe? Senator, who do you believe? Out of all the resource persons, whose testimony do you believe?
Yung sinabi ng mag-asawa, yung mag-asawang Diskaya, may paano yun reduce into written, reduce into writing na yun at sole statement na yun nila, yung kanilang statement doon, sa affidavit na yun nila. At face value, kaya nga sabi ko nga, at face value, naniniwala ako, pero still, it needs further validation para sigurado tayo.
Okay. Parang putol-putol.
Senator, si Bryce Hernandez, pati itong si Regional Director nga, si Henry Alcantara, marami rin isiniwalat sa House naman. And an observation here is parang nagtuturoan. So sa Senate, may mga idinadawit na, ayun na nga, si Speaker Romualdez and si Congressman Zaldico. But over at the House, may mga dinadawit din na Senator. So it's become parang turuan na nga, he said, she said. Alin doon? How do you sift through what is true? Kung ano yung totoo?
Ayaw kong maging selective kasi porque sabihin nyo, porque ganito ganon ang tinuturo, paniwalaan ko, porque ganito, sino-sino tinuturo nila, hindi ako maniniwala. Not really on that one. Yung pagtingin ko naman sa kanila sinasabi, not on kung sino yung kanilang nilalaglag, but on the manner sa kanilang pagpresenta ng kanilang testimonya. Pero yung dalawa nga, dahil yung DA na si Alcantara at saka yung bagong DA na si Bryce Hernandez, ay halatang nag-aaway, naglalaglagan silang dalawa. So in the course of their squabble among them, mahirap na natin ngayon ma-determine kung sino nagsasabi ng totoo sa kanilang dalawa. Dahil turuan sila, laglagan sila. Pero naniniwala ako doon sa yung isang babae, yung SMS, SYS na siya doon nagbibigay ng pera. Naniniwala ako doon kasi straight man magsalita, parang walang cover-cover. Diretso niya sila sa inaamin lahat ng ginagawa niya, sinasabi niya. Pero doon sa dalawa, since nag-aaway yung dalawa, meron silang mahirap. Hindi ko pa talaga kung sino sa kanilang dalawa ang nagsasabi ng totoo. Nalaglagan silang dalawa Nag-aaway silang dalawa.
Senator, let's talk about something else. Yung Senate coup, just this week, just on Monday, can I confirm na hindi po kayo napagsasabihan na timbre about the Senate shake-up?
Hindi.
Okay.
Kasi alam siguro nila na hindi na kami kayang makumbinsi, kaya hindi kami siguro sinabihan.
And how do you feel that yung Committee on Dangerous Drugs and Public Order was taken away from you?
Well, we have to accept the reality. Na ganun talaga. If you are with the minority, tatanggalan ka ng committee. So, okay lang sa akin. Tanggap mo na yan. Nabubuhay man tayo kahit wala tayong committee na hawakan. Hindi mo natin kailangang hawak talaga ng committee. Kung may ibigay, okay, pasalamat tayo. Pero kung wala, then okay lang rin. Wala tayong problema dyan.
Senator, kanina nga nakita na natin yung glimpse nung new majority versus new minority. Paano po ba yung dynamics niyan moving forward? How would you describe the shifting parang power dito?
Well, you expect the minority na gampanan yung kanyang papel being the fiscalizer of the Senate. gagawin po namin yung aming role sa Senado. Lalo-lalo na we are not just yung negligible minority. We are a considerable minority dahil nga siyam kami. Medyo may busis din yung siyam na yan. Hindi yan basta-bastang mababaliwala.
Anong plano niyo, sir, ngayon in the minority? I mean, how are you going to work with the new majority?
Okay lang. Kung anong mga legislations dyan, anong mga measures na kailangang ipasa na para sa kabutihan, andyan kami to support. Susuporta kami, hindi naman kami nag-minority para haharang sa kung anong mga kagustuhan nila. Andyan kami to support. Pero kung kinakailangan din na mag-fiscalize kami, kailangan rin namin maging critical about some measures, some issues, then we have to do our job. We can be critical at times. We can be supportive at times. Yan po ang papel namin. Basta fight lang. Hanggat andyan kami, fight lang.
So no hard feelings? So no hard feelings? No hard feelings?
No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
Okay.
Okay lang.
Very good. Senator, cambio lang ako. Let me ask you about another issue. Si DOJ has confirmed that si ex-PCSO Chair Royina Garma is planning to testify against former President Duterte. In fact, today, nakausap din po namin si NBI Director Jimmy Santiago. Nasabi niya, nakausap niya si Garma who flew to Malaysia to talk to an ICC negotiator. Ano pong reaction natin doon?
Matagal naman talaga yan. Matagal naman yan. Nakaplano naman yan na mag-testify talaga yan. So, let's wait and see how things will play out pagdating sa kanyang pag-testify doon sa ICC. Tingnan natin.
Are you worried that you might get implicated by
No worries.
Okay.
I am ready for any eventuality.
And kayo, sir, have you received any summons from the ICC? Wala pa rin? Or meron na?
Wala pa akong natanggap.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight, Senator Bato de la Rosa.
In other news, questions continue to swirl over the lavish lifestyles of Henry Alcantara and Bryce Hernandez, considering their salaries are pretty average for government employees. We now know from the hearings that Alcantara is from Bocaue, Bulacan and finished college at the University of Santo Tomas. After that, he started as laborer 1 level at the DPWH. News 5 reporter Gio Robles went to Bocaue to try to speak to people who know him, but was unable to find anyone other than the staff at the compound where Alcantara allegedly lives.
Sa pagkakakilala mo kay Sir Henry Alcantara, kamusta siya bilang amo, bilang employer mo?
Mabuti naman po.
Maluho ba siya?
Hindi po.
Malulungkot ba kayo para sa kanya?
Natural po, amo po namin.
Gio Robles also spoke with the barangay chairman, Tony de la Cruz, who says he's a friend of Alcantara's and described him as a good and kind person. De la Cruz said Alcantara has been a big help to the barangay, helping to build 2 levels of a facility and even donating a fire truck and an ambulance.
Naku, mabait po siya. At saka wala kang masasabi sa kanya. Madaling lapitan. Mabuting tao. At kung ako tatanungin nyo, doon sa nangyayari sa kanya ngayon, nalulungkot ako.
Bakit pa?
Kasi nga, mabuting tao siya sa pagkakakilala ko. At siyempre, as kabarangay, na kahit naman papano, or madali namin siyang nalalapitan, natatakbuhan, nahihinga ng mga proyekto actually. So, nakakalungkot. At kung tatanungin niyo ko kung naniniwala ako doon sa binibintang sa kanya, hindi. Ayan, sa likod namin. Yung 2 palapag na palaro ang pambarangay ko, ongoing yung construction yan. Sa kanya galing yan. Yung drainage doon sa may school at saka doon sa sitio gitna, sa kanya galing yan.
We still have more stories coming up after the break. This is the Big Story on One News. Keep it here.
Welcome back to the Big Story. Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barzaga has been implicated in an alleged plot to oust House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Barzaga has denied the allegations and chose to resign from both the National Unity Party and the House Majority Bloc. Barzaga, the son of NUP founder Elpidio Barzaga, cited betrayal of trust in his decision. In a statement posted to his Facebook account, Barzaga pointed fingers at Deputy Speaker Ronaldo Ronnie Puno, the chairperson of the NUP, who accused him of collecting signatures against Romualdez. Puno has also denied Barzaga's accusation. But in the same Facebook post, Barzaga took a shot at Speaker Romualdez, suggesting that he must be investigated for any anomalies involving flood control public funds.
Well, I believe that if anyone should be investigated, the first person to be investigated is House Speaker Martin Romualdez, because he's now Speaker. I have some personal knowledge. I will not be elaborating that yet. I'd like Speaker Romualdez to also be involved in the DPWH hearing. I'm saying that it's very unlikely for the Speaker to have no involvement in such a large issue.
As talks persist of a leadership shakeup in the lower chamber, Deputy Speaker in La Union Representative Paulo Ortega disputed such, saying that these are merely gossip and hearsay. Ortega, in an interview, added that top House officials are solidly behind Speaker Romualdez.
The photo will speak for itself na kitang-kita na nagkakaisa po yung House of Representatives sa party leader. There is no change of leadership. Well, maraming chismis, pero sabi ko nga, chismis. Kibitzers, mga bulong-bulong. Pero as you can see, the House is one, the House is solid, and there is no change in leadership.
Let's try to get more details. We now have with us Congressman Terry Ridon, House Infrastructure Committee Chair and Representative of Bicol Saro Party List, joining us on the line. Good evening, Congressman Ridon. Thanks for joining us again.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
First off, Congressman, what is going on in the lower chamber today? We keep hearing rumors. Is the House, is there any sort of leadership change going on?
No, I don't think so. It's a bit quiet on the congressional front. So I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard about these rumors relating to the change of changing the speaker. So I think the speaker remains the leader of Congress.
Kasi si former Congressman Ace Barbers also was at the lower chamber today, we heard, and then he gave an interview right after saying, also denying essentially that there will be a leadership change. And he says Speaker Romualdez has no plans to resign and stressed that there is no reason for him to step down. So the House is still one behind the Speaker, you would say?
Yeah, I think the supermajority for the Speaker remains. No? So I think that should be the end of that. But I think my agenda tonight is really more about the Infrastructure Committee developments. Bryce Hernandez is being transferred from the PNP Custodial Center to the Pasay City Jail as a result of the Senate plenary decision. We view it with great concern, particularly for the safety and security of Bryce Hernandez, particularly because of the revelations that he had made against Senator Joel Villanueva and Jinggoy Estrada. So we are hoping and praying that the Senate plenary reconsider its decision to bring him to a Pasay City Jail and instead bring him to the Senate premises instead, so that at the very least we can be a bit assured about his safety and security, despite the revelations he had made in our hearing yesterday.
Why specifically are you worried about security at Pasay City Jail? You said you expressed grave concern about it. I mean, being in jail would give him almost maximum security, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think the person isn't an accused. He is not a person deprived of liberty. He has not been accused of a crime. And I think a more neutral ground for a resource person should be considered by the Senate. No, particular like the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame or the Senate premises itself. No, I think the Senate and the House every interest to make sure that the safety and security of Bryce Hernandez is actually assured, and that the public should be assured that no harm will befall Bryce Hernandez in the next couple of days.
Congressman, how would you assess the hearings so far done by your committee and all these revelations being made by the resource persons? How credible are they?
I think Bryce Hernandez has been able to provide such particular evidence, particularly to the line items relating to Senator Jingoy Estrada, to Senator Joel Villanueva, and he and JP Mendoza had been able to show actual screenshots in which Senator Villanueva has been conversing with Henry Alcantara, particularly on various details of projects and DPWH activities. And also they've been able to give particular details on the closeness of Senator Jingoy Estrada and Henry Alcantara, a matter which Henry Alcantara actually initially rejected, but upon confrontation of pictures and further evidence, he was forced to admit that they had a little bit of connection.
I'm sure you're well aware that both senators have vehemently and categorically denied all the allegations. And Senator Jingoy, for one, has explained away the photos by saying that it's a party. You know, they're public officials. Anyone can go up to them and take a photo with them, which is true. As public officials, I'm sure you get asked for photos and selfies a lot, right? And then in terms of the screenshots, he said that he doesn't even have staff named Beng Ramos. Beng Ramos is a staff of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, not his staff. So how do we reconcile all of those?
Yeah, but I think the details have been presented with such specificity that the general denial by both senators cannot be accepted by the public at this point. No, so I think they have to do a little bit more than what they actually did. No, instead of making general denials, I think they have to provide a little bit more details that they are not actually involved with particular line item projects amounting to 300 million and 600 million.
Is it the sense of the whole infrastructure committee that Bryce's allegations against the senators are credible? Or is it just your assessment?
No, I think that is the view of the entire committee. I think the evidence is being made at great risk to his life and safety. No, these are not simple screenshots. These are screenshots that had in fact been validated by Henry Alcantara himself. His only excuse on the conversation, for example, with Senator Joel Villanueva, is the fact that this does not involve flood control projects. No, but I think he had actually admitted that these are actually the messages between him and the senator. So I think general denials really cannot be accepted anymore at this point.
Well, Congressman, at the same time, last Monday, you had the Discayas dropping a bombshell revelation tagging congressmen, linking them to these SOPs, these commitments, even saying yung taas nga, di ba? Yung si Speaker daw, si Congressman Zaldico, may 25%, 30%. But when Curly Discaya appeared before the House yesterday, before the committee, there's an observation that the committee didn't zero in on that. They lacked in questioning that, those allegations. Can we get your reaction to that, Congressman?
Well, there was no reason to actually talk too much about it because Mr. Discaya essentially dismantled and demolished and discredited this entire affidavit by basically explaining that he never actually had transactions with Speaker Martin Romualdez and Congressman Zaldico. And more importantly, the two gaping holes in his affidavit weren't exactly explained away by Mr. Diskaya. Particularly, number one, why were there no senators involved in that particular list when you have senators and congressmen actually proposing projects, no? And secondly, why was it that the ledger for payoffs just started in 2022 when, in fact, according to the financial statements of the Diskaya, they were able to raise the revenue as far back as, I think, 2016 during the Duterte administration. So I think the entire testimony in the Senate has essentially been discredited by Curly Diskaya going to Congress yesterday.
What about your colleagues, Congressman? Marami ring nabanggit si Curly Diskaya, several congressmen.
Well, I think Mr. Diskaya maintains that maintains the allegation that these congressmen are still were actually involved in the corrupt payoffs made by Mr. Diskaya. So we leave it to them to basically make a statement, confront Mr. Diskaya relating the matter. In fact, Congresswoman Marivic Copilar actually did it, and we were able to implement the promised protocol that each and every person named in the course of inquiry will actually be given the right to reply, but not the right to interpolate. No? So I think that is an assurance to the public that this is something that this is an inquiry that will not actually result in a whitewash, but actually an honest-to-goodness search for the truth.
I think Curly Diskaya may have been unable to draw a direct line between himself and the House leadership, but I also think we can't divorce the issue of the flood control anomalies with the budget issue. And the call has been, and calls are growing now for a closer and harder look at how the budget was crafted to begin with. And I'm sure you're well aware, si Kong Toby, for instance, has been sounding the alarm on the insertions from the very start. So again, what is your plan for this? Are you, and I've heard another congressman tell me that we need to look at the implementation problem. Si Kong Zia pala to, who said, oh no, we're going to look at the implementation side of things first before we look at the budget side. But is there any plan to also scrutinize the budget that came out in 2025?
But I think the mandate of the Infrastructure Committee is basically to just look at project implementation. I don't think we have a mandate to look into how the budget was actually crafted, unless there is a showing, for example, that there is an anomalous transaction that is related to a budget insertion. There's a particular project that we had seen, which is a ghost project in Paridel, Bulacan. That project is essentially linked to a congressional insertion, which is why I think there are plans to invite Congressman Zaldico and several other senators to shed light on the matter. But for as long as it is related to the anomalous transaction on Plaridel, Bulacan.
So there are plans to invite Congressman Zaldico?
No, the invitation has been sent to his office already. So as soon as he gets back from his medical leave, we are hopeful that he will go to the committee and explain this particular insertion in 2024.
When was it sent, Kong?
It was sent, I think, Friday last week.
Okay, but I guess at this point you don't know when he might be back?
We haven't received information as to when he will be back. But I think as soon as he gets back to the Philippines, we will resend the invitation for him to appear before the committee.
What about the Speaker, Romualdez?
I don't think he's involved in the anomalous transaction relating to Plaridel, Bulacan. Okay. So I don't think it's part of the BICAM of 2024. Okay. So I think it's only relevant for BICAM members of 2024.
Okay, so then what about the rest of the BICAM members or the rest of the members of the small committee?
I think they can be invited, actually. So the members of the BICAM of 2024 may be invited to make a disclosure as to who the proponent was for the Plaridel Bulacan project.
Okay. Kong, sorry, we're running out of time, but speaking of disclosures, we spoke to Congressman Chel Diokno, who said that he heard that the Infrastructure Committee members have submitted disclosures over conflict of interest. Can I confirm that everyone has submitted disclosures at this point?
No, not everyone. But I think a majority of the members of all the committees of the Infracom had submitted the disclosures.
And so far, is there anyone who's stated a conflict of interest?
I have to check the records. I think there might have been one or two that had stated conflict of interest. Or there are also congressmen that did not submit at all, but I have to check the records.
Congressman, President Bongbong Marcos.
Sorry.
Go
If
ahead.
you're moving to another topic, and what is your deadline for everyone submitting their disclosures?
No, there's no deadline. I mean, if they don't submit a disclosure, they won't be able to participate in the proceedings.
Okay, and for those who do have a conflict of interest, what's the plan? Are they going to inhibit?
No, they cannot proceed. They cannot participate. That's basically the requirement. If you have a conflict of interest, you cannot participate in the proceedings.
Okay, thank you.
Congressman, President Marcos is set to also name the composition of this independent commission that will be investigating flood control anomalies. When they constitute themselves, should both chambers of Congress yield their own investigations, or do you think you should still continue?
So I think at the level of the Senate and the House, I think we are asserting our right to constitutional power for oversight. So I think this is something that we will continue, even if the independent commission starts with their work. But of course, it's something that we would also want to support. So it is an option for the committee to terminate as well, and just refer all of the documents and all of the evidence and all of the findings to the independent committee. So I think I have to discuss it with the committee as to how to proceed.
And then just very quickly, when is the next hearing, Congressman?
Hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Within the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so wala pang schedule. Okay, we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight. House Infrastructure Committee Chair, Congressman Terry Ridon.
Now, in other news, Jaime Santiago is still the NBI director for now, even after his irrevocable resignation. And just recently, he and his team met with former PCSO General Manager Royina Garma, also the retired police colonel central to the drug war investigation. Santiago resigned last month after allegations about him surfaced. He was being accused of having so-called collectors extorting money from illegal gambling operators. The NBI chief told our sister program Storycon that these are all part of a demolition job.
I resigned August 15 and sabi ko naman hanggat hindi nakakahanap ng reliever ko, I'll proceed with my duties out of respect sa ating Pangulo. I am still reporting dito sa NBI. Nung mag-patender ng courtesy resignation, ay sumulpot na po yung mga mayroong gusto sa aking pwesto at started na magpalabas ng mga kung ano-anong balita against me na nakakasira ng reputasyon. Kaya sabi ko, ay gusto nyo itong pwesto ko, inyo na. So I resign.
Si ES po ang nakausap ko, sabi sa akin, hindi pa natatakel ang sa akin. Kaya stay put lang muna ako, katulad ng sinabi ko sa sulat ko.
Meantime, Santiago also recounted his role in the arrival and later on departure again of former police colonel Royina Garma. Garma returned to the Philippines last Saturday from Los Angeles after her asylum request was denied. She then flew to Malaysia the next day to meet with ICC officials as a potential witness against former boss and ex-president Rodrigo Duterte.
Receive po kami ng information that she will be arriving. So, at check agad ako, check ako ng Congress warrant, check ako ng Senate warrant, check ako ng court warrant. Wala pong warrant of arrest na issued against her. Sabi ko sa mga tao ko, ganun pa man, salubungin nyo, puntahan nyo, i-monitor nyo, tingnan natin kung anong magagawa natin, i-secure natin siya. Sabi ko, baka gusto niya magpa-custody sa atin para safety siya. Hindi na raw, uuwi daw siya. Aba, kinabukasan, Sunday, nagulat kami at paalis na naman siya. This time, papuntang Kaya ako mismo, nagpunta sa airport Tinanong ko siya, bakit ka aalis? Ano ba, natatakot daw siya dito sa Pilipinas, and may kausap daw siya. She was instructed by somebody from the ICC to proceed to Malaysia. So that doon sila mag-uusap at ipa-finalize ang kanyang affidavit. Wala kaming holding sa kanya, so hindi ko siya makuha, makustody. Hindi ko naman siya na umalis, ay karapatan niya po yun. Kaya pinangaralan ko na lang siya sa mag-ingat siya. Wala pong hold departure order, wala naman siyang kaso. May lookout bulletin, na malaman lang kung lalabas siya, madadetain siya, aalis siya.
The Finance Department has denied that a loan from South Korea was suspended due to corruption concerns. The news went viral overnight with Korean publication Hankyoreh reporting that South Korean President Lee Jae-myung hit the brakes on a Philippine loan amounting to 700 billion Korean won, or about 28.7 billion pesos. In a Facebook post that was translated, Lee said the loan could have been used for corruption. Lee added that since the project has not yet started, funding from the Foreign Economic Cooperation Fund, a program designed to give aid to developing countries, is left untouched. Such a pause is necessary to avoid wastage of taxpayer money, according to the South Korean lender. But the Finance Department issued 2 press releases today denying the existence of the loan. It clarified that the 28 billion pesos meant to go to a rural modular bridge project is currently being proposed for financing by the government of France, not South Korea. South Korea was not considered anymore due to its non-alignment on scope and other key technical specifications, and so the Department of Agrarian Reform halted negotiations last year. Separately, after the Senate briefing on the proposed 2026 budget of the Office of the President, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin maintained that the Philippines is quote-unquote in stable condition.
Very, very stable. Because, alam mo yan, internal dynamics lang yan. Normal sa atin yan. There were eras or periods in our history that there were more supposedly perceived to be destabilizing. I don't see any threats.
Like any other citizen, Bersamin said he was concerned about the unfolding revelations over irregularities in flood control projects. But the executive secretary says no problem in the overlapping probes between the House, Senate, and proposed independent commission. Bersamin added that no one will be spared by the commission's investigation, not even the Dutertes.
I don't see any obstacles yet, because these are still resource persons speaking. So, I will leave the dynamics dyan sa dalawang houses of Congress because that's outside of our purview. Kung mayroong magso-surface na issue, maybe that commission may address that. But we all have to look at the fact-finding that is yet to happen. So we do not foreclose anything. We all want all sectors of the Philippine society to contribute to the effort to find facts about these issues on flood control economies.
Meantime, the Bureau of Customs has revealed that several luxury vehicles owned by power couple contractors Curly and Sara Diskaya lack complete documents. According to the BOC, 8 vehicles have no certificate of payment or import entry, including a Rolls-Royce and 2 Mercedes-Benz units, while 7 others have incomplete papers. The agency adds that 14 cars with complete documents will still be reviewed. The Diskayas and consignees have been given 15 days to submit proof of tax payments.
Yung tinatawag na burden of proof o yung pagpapatunay ay nasa sa kanila upang ibigay sa amin yung kanilang mga pinagbayaran. I'm sure they will send their lawyers to argue or to prove na kanila yon at dutifully paid at tama ang dokumento. Walang dokumento sa madalit salita. So yan ay red flag kagad na potensyal na talagang maraming nangyaring mali dyan.
Meantime, Justice Department spokesperson Miko Clavano said Curly and Sara Diskaya can only be considered as state witnesses if they prove they were coerced into paying officials. That and a commitment to return all illegally acquired funds. He noted that the Diskayas' declared wealth does not match their claimed 3% profit from DPWH projects.
If it does not measure up to the assets that they have so proudly declared to the public, then they have to return everything above their legal income. And that is something that the Secretary has put as a condition na kailangan muna nilang ibalik yung mga nanakaw nila, nakuha nila sa maling paraan para po mapag-usapan na natin yung pagiging state witness nila.
And that is all that we have for the big story this midweek. Thank you for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.